Good afternoon, guys. What's going on? What's cracking? I'm about to go check out a new car here. Now, I know last time I went to look at the Supra, the car just is way too rough for the amount of money that we were talking about here. So looking at something else this time around, if it's not already in the thumbnail, then you guys already know. I haven't decided what I'm gonna do with this yet because I'm going to look at it right now. It happens to actually be in my local town of Waynesboro, which is crazy, like rare as these cars are, so it's weird. Because the fact they're not like super sought after, they're neat cars, they're not cool cars, as I put it. They're neat, they're not cool cars. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pop over there and show you guys. I was gonna take the MR2 here, but the roads are still complete trash. You can see we have snow, so there's just sludge and ice and all sorts of shit all over the road still. Sucks, but I guess that's part of living up north. All right, guys, so I made it here now, and just because you guys will be able to see it from the title of this video, but we have a Celica ALL-TRAC here, which is a USDM model. It's an ST185, which belongs to Josh here. He's had this for years and years, right?
Yeah, like probably 10, 11 years since I was in high school.
I didn't even know the car existed. I've lived in Waynesboro my entire life, and I've never even seen it. So he was driving for, I guess, some time. I mean, obviously, this was your DD, I'm assuming, at one time?
I mean, it's always been kind of a project car. I had it running probably 2 years ago. And then I decided to do a couple more upgrades.
Gotcha.
As far as, you know, from the top mount intercooler to a front mount. So you can see it's kind of tore apart right now, but working on a bigger intake. I got to do all my plumbing. Then I have this huge intercooler behind you that's going to somehow fit in there.
Now, was this originally made for a ALL-TRAC to fit, or is it from another car?
No, it's from another car, but I had a couple mounts here put on, you know, that I have to squeeze in this little area right here in between this bracket.
That's still you actually have a ton of room in these cars for like a front mount. So this is a lot less room than what I actually have for my Supra, which is kind of crazy. And one thing, guys, I wanted to show you too. When I open the door here, one thing you can tell with an ALL-TRAC too, most people don't realize this, but with ALL-TRACs or even the GT4s, the rear quarters are actually wider on them. Most people don't notice that until you see it in person. But if you actually open up here, take a look, only has 50,000 original miles on it, which is pretty crazy. These cars did have leather. This was a white with, I guess, would you call this the gray interior is what I call it?
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a gray or a
black interior, whatever they call it.
It's almost like a bluish gray.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure.
This one is a sunroof model. I'm not sure if they all are, guys. I'm not sure if some of them are, some of them aren't. I know a lot of the JDM ones are all hardtop, so I didn't know if that was normal or not. It still has a USDM hood on it, which he says he has outside there. You can see the RC front bumper, which he said took how long to find or get one?
It took, I mean, a couple years. They're almost nearly impossible to find. But even more crazier to find is the bumper reinforcement,
which he was just showing me up front here. This came from Poland?
I got this from Poland, yeah. And if you go to the dealership in Hagerstown, they have two in stock in California, but you are not allowed to buy them unless you are an owner of the Celica CS, Carlos Santen's.
Okay, so you actually...
RC, you have to have proof that you have the VIN number, that you own the car, or they will not sell you a bumper reinforcement. It's crazy. It doesn't matter how much money you have, they will not sell it to you. Wow,
so they actually physically keep it in stock just for those reasons, and woof, that's a little rough. But I mean, hey, at least you're able to source it, and like you said, this is, I guess, an aftermarket one. Have you made it anything up to it, like put the bumper up to it? Does it fit and work?
Yeah,
or?
I mean, it fits. As you can see, it's just sitting there. It's not bolted in or anything.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it's identical other than not being factory.
Sure. So what are the plans? Like, what is the end goals for this car? Sorry, guys, we don't have much light in here, so I apologize for that. But what's the end goal for you here?
I mean, it's always been make as much horsepower as possible, and I pretty much have everything you could ever do to this car done or sitting on the shelf ready to be done. Right.
So again, what's all done to the car right now? What's the turbo setup on it? If you can give us a little rundown here.
Yeah, it's bored. It's 20 or 30 over. I have to look at the paperwork. It's got bigger injectors, 1100 cc. It's got a Wolfcat's top feed fuel rail, steel braided fuel lines. It's got bigger spark plug wire. It's got bigger, basically bigger everything. The turbo is 63 millimeter the guy I bought it from had it redone by Turbonetics.
Okay.
And I did a couple of upgrades. I put a bigger turbo actuator, and then there's a boost controller. All that stuff was the turbo actuator, which was external.
Okay.
Is made by HKS, and then I have a AEM boost controller, which goes into the engine management system, which is, you know, the computer you can plug and play.
Yep.
Right inside of the car.
Is this on a stock ECU then?
No.
Oh, it's not stock ECU.
No, it's AEM.
Oh, so it is. Sorry, I didn't know if you said AEM controller there. So it's an AEM standalone V1, V2, which
standalone. I think it might be the V1.
I'll be able to tell. So what,
right
he'll
there.
open it up for me. I'll be able to tell in about 2 seconds. I'm assuming it's a V1 because I don't think they've made anything else for these. Yep. Which, guys, I haven't seen a V1 in probably 15 years.
And then it had the MSD.
You guys can see the old cord. Did these have spark issue? Well, I guess they're not cool. Are they not cool pack cars? They're
No,
rotor and cap.
Cool. Yeah, they're the rotary cap. It's got short throw shifter. I don't think too much other than the pillar with the gauges. Everything else is pretty much factory. It had the speaker. I think they call that like the 10 speaker sound system.
The speaker must be massive in this. Like, the size of this is huge. The dash is actually in very good condition also. This isn't all beat up. Typical, unfortunately, with all the older Celicas, no matter how low mileage you have, they all split there. And on the seats, why? I will never know what the quality issue was, but they all did it. Every single one of them did. Does have some aftermarket wheels on it here.
Tires are brand new. They were never even drove.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The shock still work on this or no?
No, not at all. I gotta hold it. But the battery was relocated to the back. You can see.
Oh, to get the fuel.
Yeah.
That's the only way to do it?
It's got a 400. Oh, what size was that? Trying to think of the. Sorry, it was a bigger fuel pump I put in it.
Gotcha.
It's like 400 gallon per minute fuel pump.
Gotcha.
Which is huge.
Yeah, it is massive.
And then, like I said, it's got the steel braided fuel line the whole way to the front. A couple other things I have that are not done. The 3rd gen. Yeah, this is 2nd gen, right?
Yeah, these are 2-gen motors in this.
It's been a while. I haven't been out here in a while. Yeah. I have the 3rd gen 2-piece oil pump, or oil.
Pan pickup and all.
Pan.
Yep.
Yeah, it's got the pickup and all that stuff. One thing I did that was kind of unique. Everybody talks about how the oil gets really hot and these things like
Cook the oil.
just blow up.
Yep.
Well, that's because the oil filter was right next to the manifold.
Right.
It's crazy. So I took and had a machine shop machine a block off plate.
No fucking way. How cool is that?
Yeah. And then the 3rd gen actually relocates
Down to the bottom.
down to the bottom.
Yep.
And then you can see behind you I have the sandwich plate out to the oil intercooler.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I got to do that. And then there's one more thing that's kind of different from the 3rd gen to the 2nd gen. So the oil pump tooth
Okay.
actually has, I think, one less or one more gear, so it spins faster.
Gotcha.
So you put a 3rd gen oil pump on with, you know, the different size gear, and you actually get more
Oil going through.
circulation
Gotcha.
versus putting like a sump with a external pump or anything crazy like that, which is really not necessary, but you know, some guys want to do that. Yeah, I was kind of planning on taking an MR2. There's another conversion you can do. I took the power steering lines off because you
Use the electric pump from an
use
MR2.
an electric pump from an MR2.
Good luck
and-
finding one of those too. You just added extra headache because they're about as rare as it gets now too. Because every racer in the world steals them off. You go to a junkyard,
Well,
there'll be
eBay,
complete cars, and the only thing it doesn't have is the pump. That's the
Right.
only thing it doesn't have. Because every racer in the world, that was one of the first cars that had electric power steering.
Right.
So every racer's like, well, I don't have it. Add that, it's a quick, easy fix.
Yep.
But yeah, like that's definitely a cool idea. Open some room up. I still see you still have the factory ABS. And these cars, look how much room they take up. They have all this line. By just deleting the factory ABS, it gets rid of a ton. Fuel pressure regulator here. Still see you have the factory throttle sitting here. Now, is that intake plan I'm going to use a factory throttle, or do you have like a 90 millimeter going on it, or an 80?
For right now, I would put factory, but I would definitely like to upgrade that.
Sure.
What else is different? I got a fuel filter back there tucked in.
I can see that.
There's the MSD2 coil.
Now, did it ever run with this setup or no?
Everything ran except, yeah, I mean, it actually ran like this, but not until I changed everything. So it didn't have the exhaust manifold. It didn't have the intake manifold.
Okay,
but everything else was hooked up and it ran.
So the big turbo and stuff was there. All that stuff was there.
All that stuff was there. Yeah.
Gotcha.
It was just the factory manifold, and I just replaced that.
So who tuned the car? If it had AEM V1 on, who was tuning it before?
I have never had it tuned.
Okay, so it started up and ran on the V1, and that was it. Yeah. Okay, and you're like, all right, it idled.
I'm like, yeah, I need to probably tune this.
Yeah.
It sounded like a beast. It doesn't have catback exhaust, so that's one thing that I'm missing.
Nah, that's so easy to have made. That's not a big deal. Any shop in the world can do that, but all the neat stuff is already done. It's a weird place, like how the fuse boxes and stuff are sitting up here for your relays for that. It's a little weird. Just stuff I've never seen before.
Yeah. This goes from the bottom of
oil
the
drain line.
That would go down to the oil pan.
Man, getting to your starter is easy on this car. I like that. I like that. Just looking at all this stuff, guys, just trying to soak it in a little bit here. I love it. Dude, thank you so much for letting me come check it out.
You're welcome.
Again, guys, this is a real Celica ALL-TRAC. I need one of these. Go ahead.
If you want to put it in right there. ST185.
ST185, guys. Look at that right there's the plate. Now, does this have anything that says like one of so many or anything inside like the Carlos RC cars do? I didn't know if there's anything besides saying ALL-TRAC on the steering wheel. Is there in the back? Is there anything else that really wow, the hoods? What else defines it? But I mean, I guess really
the factory fender flare, and then it's all-wheel drive, turbo.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things different on these, even interior wise. Like, I guess a lot of it is it's a completely different car. It really is from even like a GTS to this is like two different cars.
Yeah, it's totally different. And the reason that they made these cars was because, you know, they had to enter into the World Rally.
Yep.
And they needed to offer, what is it, like 5,000?
Yep, 5,000 have to be made.
Yep, so they could race their, you know, car and win, so.
Yep, that's the whole reason. That's why they were so expensive. I mean, the next model down was $10,000 cheaper. It was like, it wasn't just like, oh, you upgraded slightly. It was, these were totally different cars, and they literally just made just enough and hoped they sold just enough just so they could compete, in which they won for many years there until they got caught cheating.
Right.
That was like their big thing, but what do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments. Are you guys a fan of the ALL-TRAC? Oh, also the mirrors on these. If you guys ever seen back in the day, especially if you were a racer like me back in the day, all those aftermarket mirrors and stuff were based off the M3 and the Celica ALL-TRAC. So those weird shape, these were factory. These are not aftermarket. That's how they came. I'm gonna try and get you guys a back shot here. You guys can see here. See how the fenders stick out? Is definitely wider. These are very cool cars. All right, guys, so we're back here at the house now. I'm just finishing up working on the MR2, but what do you guys think of that Celica ALL-TRAC? Is it something I should get? I'm not sure how I feel about it. It's a lot rougher than I thought. I thought it was, when I was going there, it was gonna be a running, driving car. Doesn't run, has a Gen 2 motor. Just a lot of things about it that I'm not too, most people wouldn't be too happy about. It does have some great perks though too. It is a real ALL-TRAC. It is white, it's not black, thank goodness. I hate black cars, we all know that. I've got my silver Supra and I've got my white MR2 here, but it needs some work. Underneath of it's pretty rusty, the one side of it there, it's starting to bubble in the rocker area there, and the other side has rust the whole way up along around it, so it would need paint all the way around. I don't know how, I'm not sure how I feel yet. Joss was kind enough to let me look at the car. He is currently trying to sell it. I want to purchase it. I'm still waiting to hear back from him here what he thinks a fair offer is. I know he asked me to throw something out there. I did that with the Supra. I personally don't want to go through it again, so I'm waiting to see what he wants or what he really wants to sell it for. You can definitely tell Josh is emotionally attached to the car, which I would be too, just like I am the Supra. I built this thing from the ground up, owned it for 8 years now, so I get the attachment. So we'll see. Hopefully I do have it on here on the channel for you guys. I'll let you know when that happens. Alright guys, thank you very much for tuning in today. Again, give this video a big like and a comment down below. Let me know what you think about the CS ALL-TRAC. Like, is it something that I should get? Is it something you guys would want to watch? I just got the email from Robert Del Angel at Real Street. My kit is shipping. Everything is coming here shortly. So you guys will see which one it is. You guys have no idea, because I mean, they sell just about literally every company. They sell everything under the moon. So you guys will be seeing it here shortly. That build will be going. Once this is up and running, we're literally taking this car apart. Like as soon as this is up and running, that's coming apart. We're taking the motor out and doing the turbo build series on that. So it's going from this to that, and then hopefully we get the ALL-TRAC here soon too, and we'll have that series. So again, guys, thank you very much for tuning in, and I will talk to you later. Peace!